My name's Giovanna Forte. I'm Managing Director of Funnily Enough Limited, which manufactures the Peasy, which is a midstream urine collection device for women that cleans up hospitals, offers hygiene, patient care and dignity. I was very successful PR in Soho, running my own business, working for architects, designers and brands. And my GP brother, who's a fairly inventive boffin and author, came up with the Peasy because one too many women had walked into his surgeries complaining about the little bottle that you have to pee into. So I airily said, well, you always made things when we were children, make something. And he did. And the long and short of it is that he won the inaugural Medical Futures Innovation Award, and then asked me if I would help him find somebody to run the business, and I couldn't find anybody, so he asked me. And I rather foolishly said yes. So here I am, infinitely less well remunerated, very tired, with no nails. But then once you get your teeth into it and you can see the potential and you can see that there is a market and there is a need, you have to do it. You just have to do it. And it's hugely exciting. It's much, much more exciting than PRing a building or, you know, whatever else it is you did. I did drinks, brands and so forth, but this is just something entirely different. It has a purpose, it can change lives, it can change the way things happen in hospitals. It had a huge impact. You screw this onto there. When you start to pee, this fits closely to your body. The first few mils of urine, approximately 10 mils, come out of the bottom. The sponge inflates, it stems the urine flow, which banks up here, goes into the bottle. The excess then comes out of this U-duct there. You then wait 20 seconds or so when you've finished peeing, and when you hear the drops finish, you tip that up, you unscrew this, dry bottle, dry hands, dry floor, Peasy goes in the bin, pure midstream sample. Job done. Well, originally Vincent and I had spent between us about 80 grand, mainly on patent fees and some design development, design engineering. And we got to the stage where we actually couldn't, we were both up to here in debt. He'd remortgaged, I'd taken out as many loans as I possibly could. And you get to a point where you think, actually, I can't do this. You know, I had children to bring up and so forth. So we thought investment funding. Somebody actually sent me a link to G2I. I looked at G2I, I went along to this seminar, and I sat there for the morning, listened to everything. I'm not very good in classrooms. So after half a day, I thought, right, I've told them what I've got, I'm off. So I cleared off. Had a call from eSynergy the next day from Mike Bowman, and he said, really interested in this thing that you brought along to the seminar yesterday. Can you come in? So I went in, had a chat with him, and he liked it. So I got my brother in to have another chat, and he put us on the investment readiness course. So I did that, and after the first morning, having done my presentation along with everybody else about the product, thought, oh, I don't know about this. It's a bit more of a sort of sitting in classrooms malarkey. And I picked up my motorcycle helmet and started to walk out, and then thought, actually, do you know what, Giovanna? If this was going to lead to funding, you'd be letting your brother down really badly, and yourself. So I put it back, walked back in and did the afternoon. Now, at the end of that first day, we all had to vote on what we thought in the group was the most investable product. And I came second. And I looked round at the bloke who came first and thought, I'm having you. And that, I'm afraid to say, was the story. So I stuck it out, and by the end of the course, I do believe I was first. Yeah, but that course was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. And I wish I'd found it a long time earlier, because I'd been to see loads of VCs and people who, potential funders. And if I'd known what I learnt on that course, I think I would have got the funding earlier. How to raise the money. I've never been in a position where I have to raise the money. I was on retained fees running my PR business. You know, you send out a load of invoices every month and they come in a few weeks later. I mean, I was very lucky. I never had anyone who didn't pay their bills, and the retainers just came in. When you're raising funding and you've actually got to prove what it is, you've got that it's worth that much money, whether it's 100 grand or $1 million, it doesn't really matter. Everyone's taking a punt on you, and you have to persuade them that you're worth that punt, and that's the difficult bit. And how to present that and the things to take into account are often the things that you don't realise. And once you're told, you think, God, that's so obvious. But, until you're actually told, it's quite difficult to work it out. You then stand up in front of about 100 angels at the end in Stationers' Hall after a couple of glasses of probably inadvisable wine and have to do your bit in 2 minutes flat and then go around and talk to everybody. And I think we had to do another presentation after that. And then they said yes, that they would find half. We only wanted only 150 grand, which in the scheme of things, we've had a lot more since, which apparently is quite normal. So eSynergy came up with half and the Angels came up with the other half. And subsequent rounds of funding, I think we've virtually emptied their early growth fund for them over the years. And the original idea was for a flushable midstream collection device that allowed women to deliver urine for medical analysis in a much more dignified manner, that was clean, that left them with dry hands, dry bottle, dry floor. The flushable bit was, to us, quite important because it was part of the cleanliness and the hygiene and efficiency of the product. So we went down, with our investors' money, a route of a cornstarch polymer, and it all looked quite good. It was very difficult to do because no one had done the complex injection moulding with this polymer, and we did. And with our manufacturing partners, we actually developed a proprietary recipe to whiten it and do what we wanted with it. So that was pretty good. What happened was we made 1,500 January 2008, sent them out to a load of hospitals. I tried them myself. Every time a box arrives, I run off and try them out, make sure they're okay. And they were all splitting and cracking when they came out of the packets. And I rang the polymer manufacturer and they said, yeah, we're still mucking about with the water content of the polymer. And I said, you can't do this. You know, we're launching a product. And he said, well, we can't guarantee you the same thing every time. So I sat there, scratched my head and thought, my quality assurance manager, Nick, had been saying to me for a few months, are you sure about the flushability? Yes, it's got to be flushable, you know. And I think that was one of my big mistakes. It was to have so much tunnel vision about this. So within an instant, I thought, right, you know, what polymer can we use with our existing tools and our existing processes? And within 3 days, our manufacturers had got me 3 pieces in polyethylene and polypropylene. And we decided the polypropylene was a really nice, has a really nice finish to it. We can print on it. And that's what we went with. So in an instant, we went from flushable to not flushable. But we also found that the hospitals didn't want to flush it anyway because they were nervous about it banging up their systems because of all the Victorian sewer systems up and down the country. So that took a long time and probably cost us between 100 and 150 grand to go down that route. So although we've come out of it with an extensive knowledge of the cornstarch polymer and how it works, which could be useful in the future, we could have short-circuited the whole process by, you know, quite a long way. But then you don't know, do you? Since last year, we brought out our polypropylene PZ. We trialled it. We had to fine-tune it. Because we've got some quite precision engineering here with a little sponge at the bottom, this sponge is crucial to how it works. We've basically, to cut a long story short, tweaked it twice. And the last time, we had to shorten it by something like 0.5 millimetre to get it to work. So we brought out a load of PZs in July, tested those, fine-tuned, and we got the final product in September. So 9 months after we thought we were going to have our product. So you can imagine what that does to our forecast and our cash flow and our investors' sort of temper, really. Their sort of tolerance level, you know, how come you're 9 months late? Well, we changed the material, it's not flushable, it's nothing like what we said it was going to be, but it's really good, you know. Unfortunately, they're a nice bunch and we kept sending them to them and updating your investors is probably one of the best things you can do. Just keep telling them. Even if it's gone wrong, it's gone wrong. This is what we're going to do about it, because they just need to know. We've got the product, we've trialled it all over the place, we know it works, we've got clinical trials happening at Guy's and Thomas's, we've had it evaluated in about 75 private hospitals, we've got the sales pipeline is underway, we've got contracts out waiting to be signed, I've got some new salespeople on board, and I reckon in about 3 months' time we should have tens of thousands being ordered every month. That's the target. But at the moment, there's nothing to stop us doing that because we've gone through so many hurdles. My top 3 pieces of advice to other entrepreneurs. 1 is persevere and have faith in what you're doing. 2, other entrepreneurs will give you advice. Ask them what they got wrong, because quite often that's the thing to look at. You can learn a lot from what other people got wrong. And number 3 is make sure you get enough money. People told me this and I didn't listen. Whatever you go for, you're going to need 2 or 3 times that amount. And they were absolutely right.